The first thing I came up with is going at something alone, going at it alone. When you do things on your own, when you without asking others for their input, without asking others for help, when you don't accept help very easily. There are a lot of us that have a hard time accepting help or asking for help. And when you feel like you need to get things done on your own, like if I don't do it, it's not going to get done, or if I don't do it the way I need to do it, it's not going to do get done correctly. So to me, that is a blind spot. For me, it could be a blind spot because it can hinder your success or your progression if you're always trying to do it alone, or if you never ask for help or you don't accept help. It can hinder you. So that's why I counted as a blind spot.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that because it can. And, it's funny. We kind of shared some notes before we talked about this. And there's, going it alone. And as I'm reading through the bullet points, I go, yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. And going. So a lot of the characteristics and traits that it described as part of that, I think definitely fit me and my personality. But the flip side of that is I personally don't see it as a blind spot. And that's one of the things that, I wanted to kind of put out there. So let me run through some of the traits as you just talked about. Not asking for help, not accepting help, even when it's offered, not talking about different things that you're under stress about, things that are happening in your life and not sharing it, just holding it so closely, not including others in decisions, whether big or small, right? You're not valuing their opinion, not seeking their input. And then feeling like you just need to go it alone. You know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to carry this on my broad shoulders, whatever it might be. And that's the stance that you take as you go through life. So I looked at that and I said, wow, well, that's pretty much me. Uh, and and as I said, I don't really see that as a quote unquote blind spot because I'm aware of it. But how about you explain more of why you feel that really is a blind spot?
And like you said, you're aware of it, so you don't consider it a blind spot because you see it. But it also could be a spot because it's hindering you. You don't see that the outcome of what
Okay.
could possibly happen. You don't see that it can lack growth or lack progression just because you decide, okay, I'm not going to ask for help. You could have gotten farther along it had you asked for help or
Mhm.
had you accepted help. Had you built a team instead of trying to do it on your own. Maybe you would have progressed, whatever the goal, whatever the project, it would have progressed, or you could have succeeded at that because you had a team built into it. And sometimes when people just don't want to, they feel like if they don't do it, it's not going to happen, or it's not going to happen right, or it's not. And to me, that is a thought process where if I don't do it, it's not going to happen correctly because nobody else knows how to do it, but I do the way I do it.
Okay. So, would you say that there is some perfectionism maybe tied to that in some
Absolutely.
ways?
Absolutely.
Would you say there is some control tied to that also?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely control tied to it. And perfectionism as well, but definitely control. If I don't get done the way I do it, then it's not going to be right. I know it's not going to be right. And some people go as far as, okay, I'm going to try it, but I know it's not going to be right. I'm going to let them help me, but I know it's not going to be the way I want it to be.
Hmm.
So we
Hmm.
go at it alone, and that's our blind spot because then we hinder what could very well be something great. Because and then we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, a lot of stress on ourselves to do something that we could probably do with someone else even greater.
Agreed. So one of the things that we just finished as far as our series goes, we were talking about, transformation through transparency, truth, and trust. So the last piece of what I was going to bring in there is there's a trust element of it as well, right? Because if you were going to delegate it out and let someone else manage or do, then you also have to have confidence or trust that it's just going to get done. Not necessarily the level of satisfaction, but just the fact that it will get done, right? And so for me to say, yes, is trust part of it? Yes, absolutely. To say, is there some perfectionism pieces to it? Yeah, probably so. Control, don't know. That one, I don't know if that's what a driver for me, but definitely those other two for sure.
And I can even dive deeper. Not asking for help. That can also have something to do with fear of rejection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Um,
that's a great point that you bring up, because, like you said, when you're talking about fear and rejection from that standpoint, right? Um, and there's also a judgment piece, and that's the last part I wanted to throw in, because depending on the situation or the scenario, what it is you're asking help for or sharing, et cetera, you may not want to do it, share it, put it out there because
mhm,
of the quote unquote judgment that's going to
mhm,
come back at you, right?
mhm.
So that there is that piece of it as well. So all valid points and all valid reasons. I think the biggest catch or thing to look at is, A, are you aware of these things? And then B, if you are not aware, how are they impacting your daily choices and the daily decisions that you make,
Right.
your relationships that you have with others in your life?
And the long, like you said, the long term ramification of it as well.
Yeah,
How is
agreed.
that benefiting? How is that benefiting you long term?